I'm Dr. Christine Whelan, a recent bride and relationship columnist. Brides, I get it. Let's get your questions answered.
I'm Father Eric Andrews, a Paulist priest who prefers funerals to weddings. Welcome to another webisode of The Princess, the Priest, and the War for the Perfect Wedding.
Hi, I'm Scott from Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm planning to marry a cradle Catholic. And when we were planning the wedding, it was suggested to us that we have a reading from either the Velveteen Rabbit or Winnie the Pooh. When I brought this up to my fiancée, she told me that we could not do that within the Catholic Church. I want to know, why not?
Hi, Scott. Thanks so much for the great question, and congratulations on your engagement. That's wonderful news. So I have to admit, the first time that I heard your question, I laughed a little bit, because really, seriously, the Velveteen Rabbit? I mean, you know, I see where you're going with this question, but Father Eric, the Velveteen Rabbit at a wedding?
Well, I mean, in defense of Scott, who's a good friend and whose wedding I'll be officiating in a little bit, and I know he's a lawyer and he's a smart guy and his fiancée's wonderful, there must be something to his question. So let's just put on our imagination caps for a second. I'm just wondering, what would this really look like?
A reading from the Velveteen Rabbit. What is real? Asked the rabbit one day. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been loved off, and your eyes drop out, and you get all loose in the joints, and very shabby. The word of Marjorie Williams.
Okay, well, it's not for me. It's not for me. But
No.
What do you think, Christine?
I mean, I think that's looking pretty awkward and a little bit weird, huh?
Yeah, and I guess what I would say to Scott is this: in the Catholic liturgy, we're reminded that when we have the readings, we're recalling our history, our salvation history as a Christian people, and we read from the Hebrew Scriptures and we read from the New Testament to show how God has acted throughout. From the beginning of time to the present. And in matter of fact, the bride and the groom are continuing in that salvation history. By that definition, the Velveteen Rabbit being a fictional piece, it doesn't really fit into that salvation history. It's not in the canon, shall we say.
Okay, but what if you wanted to incorporate the teachings of Buddha, or some readings from the Quran, or some other holy and traditional scriptural kind of text? Could you put those into a Catholic wedding ceremony?
Well, I suppose if you're marrying someone from another faith tradition, that might really be appropriate, especially if your spiritual leader or guide from that tradition is there, and then he or she could bring those scriptures. But if you're two Christians coming together, I would probably ask the question a little deeper, and sometimes it may fit, and maybe a pastor, you may be able to work with him and maybe find a place, if not in the traditional place for the readings, maybe after communion, or perhaps place something in your program. So there might be other places to use it, and work with your priest, but you're probably not going to win the argument that it fits in the liturgy of the word.
What if you want something that really incorporates the sort of modern relationship that you have? Perhaps maybe writing love letters to each other and reading those in the ceremony.
You know, one really has to be cautious when we want to bring in the things that we want to personalize, because they kind of diminish the power and the quality of the liturgy. There's plenty of things in the scriptures already that probably resonate more with our lives today than you realize. And the Song of Songs is a very romantic and sexual version of love. So there's other scriptures that really speak very poignantly and speak across generations and can really touch us today. So don't underestimate the power of Scripture. And if you look a little deeper, you'll find something profound. How's that?
So while you can't have the Velveteen Rabbit, maybe you can have something from the Song of Songs that suggests that Catholics multiply like rabbits. Is that what we're saying here?
Is that what we're saying? I think maybe we are.
Excellent. Okay, Scott. Best of luck to you and your fiancée.
Scott and Sarah, look forward to your wedding real soon. Take care. God bless.